Welcome to the IO Nebo podcast. I'm your number one host, Bella.
Hi guys, listen to the Iron Nibble Tech Podcast.
Welcome to the IO Nebo podcast. So, in the sea, they say the fastest animal is the black melon. In the air, they say it's the peregrine falcon. On land, they call it the cheetah. When we go to automotives, we say the Bugatti Veyron. Well, it's disputable anyways. When we go to internet, it's 6G. Anyway, today we are talking about 5G, and I have two incredible people to talk about it with. I don't want to take the shine away from them. So Cynoc, tell us about yourself.
Thank you. My name is Cynoc. I'm a current engineer at Google. I've worked at Google for the past 2 years in internships. I've been with Google Search. I've also been with Google Duo, and I'm currently working on Google Fi. I'm also the founder of CodeAfrique, which is a non-profit trying to, increase computer science awareness and education across Africa. We've done programs in Ghana and in Swaziland. And yeah, I'm excited to be part of this.
Swaziland. I think they speak Swahili, right?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
So Mambo. So you
All I remember is ETA.
ETA. So I went to Kenya once and I had to learn that one, at least the survivor one. Andy.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
The honorable himself. The
Well,
master
I
of
think everyone
property.
knows.
Everyone knows.
I think everyone knows me by now.
Charlie, you say something.
I haven't been on this season for a while, but yeah, I've been a little bit busy. But here I am.
You say
Just
something.
because
Remind them.
Cynoc.
Remind them who you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Andy. Your favorite resident software engineer, game designer, so on and so forth.
Did you just do the so and so forth?
Yes.
Wow, then I guess I should have just done, hey, my name is Cynoc. You know the rest. I'm good.
I mean, just to be like, I've been on the show. Like, I'm a usual participant of the show. Yes,
a veteran, right?
Let me explain it in
yeah.
Mortal Kombat terms. Maybe you might understand. It's like the
I
Cynoc
actually wanted to use
to the
like
Shao Kahn.
exactly. I wanted to use like a Mortal Kombat joke when he told me his name was Cynoc. I was like, oh my god, Cynoc.
Oh my god,
Coincidence?
I've been getting that since like I was a kid, man.
Oh.
Like everyone just says Cynoc, and I'm like,
I can imagine.
you get used to it at some point.
Okay.
Well, so I'm just going to dive into the business part of it. By the way, before we get into it, I want to tell our humble listeners that there is a giveaway opportunity. So you just need to visit ionable.com. And we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Like, comment, and share. So, my first question when I'm delving into the business, like I like business as it is, what is 5G? Maybe Andy, I'll give our guest the first opportunity.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, 5G is just like an extra layer, right? It's a next generation. So we've had like 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G, and basically, every generation they try to like improve upon the speed of the network, and they just try to try to expand on like the frequencies that they are able to target. So 5G is basically an ultra fast layer that we currently don't have access to. They are trying to get into a different spectrum, which will help provide like really fast transfer of data packets with extremely low latency. And that comes with a bunch of other perks too. But basically, 5G in summary is, imagine right now, going from Kumasi to Accra, you take the Kufuor bus. 5G is now taking a flight, but at the same price as the Kufuor bus. Basically, it's very cheap for everyone to take it, right? So it's extremely fast. You can get there on time with very minimum delays.
Interesting. Andy, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, like you said, 5G prioritizes on ultra low latency. So you're looking at low times between like sending packets between multiple like systems or computers on a network, which is advantageous for everyone, which means you have less waiting time. So like that's a very that's like if you go into like that's where exactly. So and also it's more reliable. I think it drops less, so it's like more stable. Also, I think I remember one thing about it being it's having like massive like the capacity, like the number of people who can be on the network without it being stressed is actually more. So like 5G is like no, yeah.
I guess basically he's saying there's like higher throughput, right? So once again, coming back to the car analogy, right? The Kufuor bus can take a certain number of people, like 50 people, I guess, in a bus, right? And it's also slow. So assume that's 4G, but 5G. Imagine having a plane that can take about 3,000 people in the plane, and it's also fast, right?
Interesting.
So you can send more packets, you can go at a faster rate, and that comes with several other perks. And as Andy was saying, it's also like extremely super reliable, and they've improved upon the security and other aspects of it. But yeah,
that's interesting.
And, very very sorry for interrupting, Andy.
Oh no, perfect analogy. No worries at all.
It's interesting to hear that we have the Flash in the multiverse with us right here, because you've mentioned 5G being very fast and still the same capacity, like carrying the same capacity at a better rate. And you know,
in fact, carrying more capacity. I think that was what Andy was trying to say, right? Like
exactly,
you can carry more packets now, and even at a faster rate.
So for our listeners who are novices, can you just elaborate on packets just in a few sentences? What is a packet?
That's a really good question. So data packets are basically how information is sent across a network. So let's say, imagine you are trying to type, "Hey, Cynoc, what's up?" on on WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
That "Hey, Cynoc," the characters that you typed, are not actual characters that are sent, right? They are code.
Okay.
Right at the end, "Hey H" is the H character is translated into a byte code, which is like 110. So like everything is just ones and zeros, right? So that H is translated into 1100 something, right? And then the E will be translated into another sequence of bits, and then the L will be like, so like the Y will be translated to another sequence of bits, right? So "Hey Cynoc, what are you doing?" will be translated into like a series of characters, right?
Yeah.
Which are all ones and zeros, right?
Yeah.
And then that packet is sent across a data line. So in Ghana, I don't think we had enough time to like lay across a bunch of data packets. In America, there's like because America transitioned from cable TV to internet. So in America, there's like there is Ethernet cables like in everyone's house that you can just plug in, and so the data packets are sent along those lines. So I think I'm not sure what the infrastructure in Ghana is, but I'm pretty sure that if it is Wi-Fi through like MTN or something, it is sent along their broadband lines, right? So that sequence of characters, that sequence of data, that is a datagram, and that is sent across the network, right? And what our friend Andy, the veteran, was explaining was that with the current infrastructure of 4G, there's a limited amount of data, right? There's like this sequence of characters, and mind you, it's not just text. Like if you're sending a video, the video is converted into these ones and zeros. A picture is converted into these ones and zeros. Literally everything you send across the internet, even this conversation that we're having, right, is being sent as ones and zeros. Your face is being converted into ones and zeros and sent across the internet. My voice, the actions that I'm doing, everything is being converted into ones and zeros and being sent across the network, right? So our current infrastructure can handle a certain amount of data, a certain amount of ones and zeros that can be sent across the network. So 5G basically is increasing that bandwidth, right? So right now, if 4G can like maybe send at most 1 gigabyte per second, 5G is expanding to like 10 gigabytes, right? So what that would mean for the ordinary man is that watching YouTube videos online, usually in Ghana, there's a lot of like buffering going on. Why? Because the data line,
yes?
exactly, the infrastructure isn't built enough to like transport that amount of load across the network. So it breaks it down into packets. Some of the packets end up being dropping, right? So if a packet gets dropped, what most network engineers do is that if the packet is important, right, and it gets dropped, then you don't want to continue what you're doing without receiving that packet, right? Because imagine, let's say you are making a bank transaction, right, across the internet, and you're like, okay, Cynoc withdrew $500 from the account, and then now Cynoc is paying $300. So my nets will be minus $200, right? Because I withdrew 500 and I'm paying 300. But what happens if after I withdrew the minus 500, the data packet wasn't sent, like the network, there was a breach and that transaction didn't occur, on the server side, right? Exactly, right. So basically, most programmers, what we do is that we basically, like, if we don't receive a packet, we basically pause, we wait till we receive that packet, and then after we receive that packet, we like continue with the transaction, which you can do either synchronously or asynchronously.
So simply put, data packets is like zeros and ones, and now 5G is how fast you are able to transmit that zeros and ones across.
And yes, how fast,
and how many packets you can send.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. So, Andy, before we go on, let me just come up with self-driving cars. We've spoken about this in our previous episodes. Yeah. There is no way we can talk about self-driving cars without talking about latency and response time. And their interactions with the environment. We need to also talk about things like that, like how 5G would affect the environment as well. Andy, can you comment about 5G and self-driving cars and the environment?
Yeah, so 5G's impact on self-driving cars is huge. So, for example, I mean, I don't really know how Tesla handles their self-driving systems, but there are ultimately two ideal situations or two ideal ways you'd want to handle any self-driving system. One is there's a camera and the camera is looking at the road, and the system within the CPU within that car, which we all know that the Tesla has a CPU, it's literally a computer, since you can play Minecraft with it. The CPU within the car does all the calculations and like, okay, this is a dust bin, this is the road, this is the line on the road, and then comes up with like, and uses its its knowledge, which is like the data it has stored in the previous like situations that it has gone through previous situations, and then uses it to go like, okay, I'm driving on the right side of the road. Okay, the car in front of me just stopped, so I'll have to stop. That's one way. Another way you can do it is you send that information the car is seeing to an external server or to a server, and the server does that calculation for you. Now that server has a higher chance of like more information because you can store more data on it. When I say more data, like I'm looking into like AI and stuff, but basically it has more information stored on it, not just from your car, but from multiple cars that have also communicated to that same server. And now it has a very good idea of how to calculate everything that's going on around it. Now 5G would allow that to be very possible without any serious lag or latency, which means that you wouldn't have to have an issue of, what if back to the packets thing. The packets for whatever the car is seeing is sent, and if you don't have a response back in
You
time
definitely
for
die
or
in
it
that car
drops,
accident.
you are dead. You are dead. So 5G allows for a more achievable driverless car situation for any company who wants to start up, like, oh, I would like to start up a driving car, like a driverless car, this thing. Like now it's like, okay, you don't need to keep the CPU in the car. Like you could have a basic CPU in the car for codecs and everything, and then and then networking, and then send it off to another system that has the capacity to handle that processing, and then send back the information for the car to work on that information that has been given to it. So 5G is like one of the things that would improve that. I think my knowledge on the driverless car industry isn't that much, but basically, like, this is basic. This is basically how the architecture would work for any driverless car environment. So this is like 5G is what like something that's going to help in that situation.
Cynoc seems to agree with you a lot. And you know, I think I understand what you're saying. Let me just put it briefly. So I'm just trying to apply what I've learned so far. So if 5G is fast and it can carry more data packets, that means self-driving cars can move around better and faster without crashes. Am I right?
So
Cynoc is shaking he's shaking his head. So tell me something.
I mean, to some degree, you are right? But the premise of 5G of self-driving cars is mostly about safety, right?
Okay.
If you look at the motivation behind most of the self-driving car industries, it's about safety of not just pedestrians and cars on the road, but also of the environment, right? And so most self-driving cars use carbon neutral, like they are like electric cars. But back to your point, to ensure safety, right? Things need to be done in real time. It's extremely hard to simulate what happens on the road inside a computer. Why? Because there's so much unpredictability on the road. Let me give you a classic example, okay? So this was actually a talk that I went to back in Cornell University in New York. And it was with this Stanford professor who was doing some top research in machine learning and self-driving cars. And he said that they work closely with, I think, Tesla and Waymo in coming up in like testing their systems. And what they found out was that the self-driving cars worked very, very well in California. They were working fine. But guess what? They took the cars to New York and they found something interesting. And what was that? In California, there is no snow. It's like Ghana. It doesn't snow over there, which is where I am right now. But if you bring it to New York, it snows.
Dude ran away from trouble.
Yes, exactly, man. Like coming from Oshiwe to right. So in New York, it snows, and snowing presents a whole new set of problems.
Hey.
With the ties.
Yes, of course.
With the cameras. Remember that there's snowfall in the cameras, which you probably didn't think about, right? And with a bunch of other stuff. So being able to figure things out in real time matters.
Okay.
Right? Whether the CPU is on board of the computer or whether you want to send stuff onto a server, right? And most of these calculations are done in real time, right? Because as I said, it's hard to simulate most of these things, right? So what 5G enables most of these self-driving cars to do will be to perform certain machine learning operations in real time and at a faster rate.
Nice.
Right. So in that sense, that will also increase the reaction time. Right. So that increasing the reaction time will help increase safety and make it more reliable for people to want to patronize it. Right. So as Andy was saying, 5G it's a huge revolution for the self-driving car industry, because think about it. Sending just hello is like 16 bits, or it depends on which system you use, either 16 bits or like 32 bits. But constantly taking pictures and taking videos and sending that across a network, that's a huge amount of data that you want to send across a
You
network,
programmers, you
right?
suffer a lot. You have to think about all
Exactly.
of these things.
All of these things, right? These are huge stuff that you have to send across the network. And currently, because of the current system, remember previously I said if something is lost across the network, you need to wait for it.
Wait for it to come. Yeah.
So think about being a self-driving car,
And the
and
data is not coming.
something
And you're unable
happens,
to
and
compute it.
exactly, right? So these are some of the problems that developers are going through right now. Like, they are wasting their time on solving things that they shouldn't really be thinking about. That the infrastructure should exist, so that they don't even think about these things, right? They can just assume that all data will come, and then they can do their manipulations and send back results.
Yeah.
Right. But now, as a developer, you can't make any of those assumptions, right? You absolutely have to make sure that you are handling safety well.
So,
Right.
so let me ask this though. Obviously, 5G would have something to do with cloud-based services, analytic compatibilities, industrial applications, healthcare, remote surgery. I mean, you just mentioned real time, so real time streaming. I think the fact that I'm able to watch 8K, I think somebody said that, right? 8K and it will not lag is nice. And the fact that there will be intense VR gaming, Andy is by this time jubilating.
Oh,
I'm sorry to say in Ghana yet.
that's actually a good point you brought up.
Yeah, I
So
agree with that.
you know what? Let's delve into cloud-based service enterprises.
Yeah.
Data
I'll just speak about my specialty and just drop it for the rest for
Yeah.
Cynoc
the
to take
VR
over.
king
Go for it.
himself.
Not necessarily VR games, but I don't know if you've heard of Google Stadia
Of
and
course.
also Xbox Cloud. Yes, and of course he's head of Google Stadia. He works at Google. But yeah, so 5G is like, if I don't want to say the holy grail, because obviously 6G will come and 6G will now be the next holy grail.
I heard
So
they are
let's say
developing
5G. Yeah, so let's just say 5G is
10 years from now,
step
but yeah.
forward. Yeah, we'll tell you from now, but like just say 5G is like a step forward in that regard. Because like you said, so right now the main issue with okay, so for those who don't know what Google Stadia is and what Xbox X Cloud is and all those systems are, they're basically consoles you own that you don't own.
Yeah.
So
Not confusing the
basically,
kids.
so imagine if
I
you had a
like
PS4.
Andy. I really like that
Oh,
characterization of it.
you
You own
own
it,
it,
but
but
you
you don't
actually
own
don't
it.
own it.
So
Yeah,
it's a
so
console online. Simple.
yes, basically. So imagine you owning a PS4, but the PS4 is not sitting in your house. All you have is the controller of the PS4,
Exactly.
and your PS4 is sitting in
In
a
some
data
resource
center
somewhere.
somewhere,
Exactly.
just like running. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. Like it automatically like handles all that stuff. But when you come, you start up. It will connect your controller connects to your TV, and everything connects to your console, which is not in your house but somewhere else, and it loads up all the games you've bought on that console and you play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for that to happen, you need like really fast internet, not even just for the
Exactly.
connection, but for the playing. If you've ever played a
Yes.
game for our friends who play online, like games online, it's hell. First of all, competitive games is hell in Ghana because the internet isn't really that good. You're looking at
I can
150,
imagine.
160 ms. It's bad, but we'll talk about that later. It's so bad. So I think right
Internet
now
shaming my country.
Vodafone.
Don't worry.
Oh no, actually, Vodafone Fiber and MTN Fiber are making really good strides. I think you can play games at least 90 ms, 80 ms for some specific games, which is
What do you
awesome
mean by 90
for
ms
everyone.
and 80 ms?
Sorry, oh
For
my
the
god, I'm so
listeners.
sorry. I'm so sorry. So when I say those numbers I'm mentioning, 90, 80, 150, that is the time it takes for whatever input you put into your PC or whatever input you put into the game to go to the server and come back to you. That is the given time. So when I say your your input latency or your latency is 160 or 150, means it takes 150 milliseconds, not seconds, but milliseconds to, like, for whatever command or whatever thing you put into the PC to go to the server, be recognized on the server, and come back to you, and also be like, and come back to you that, okay, like, this has been done, confirmed, yes. Now, if you want to play like games on a console that's somewhere else, that's not even in your house, now in real life, you're looking at 10 milliseconds of you doing any action like that. Now, say the console is not in your house, it's somewhere. It means that whatever button you press, it will take that amount of time for it to go to that console wherever it is in the cloud, and then bring it back and now display it on your TV, which you're looking at. I think Google were talking about some really cool numbers. Like, I think they reduced it to like lower than 50 ms, but in Ghana, that is a lie because that one never worked. So 5G would actually help in that situation where people can actually like look at Stadia, or even not just Ghana, but everywhere, people can actually look at Stadia and Xbox option as a viable subscription plan, almost like Netflix, where instead of you have to buy a console every 5 or 7 years, you just pay that amount. And I think it even comes with like packages for games, which you could play every day. Like, instead of like now, oh my God, like you complain, oh my God, I shot that guy, like, because your internet wasn't really working. So that's like 5G and the cloud. That's my area of expertise. Like, that's where I see it's being really, really used. Not just for even Stadia, but just even normal game, like normal online playing. Like, it's a huge improvement for everyone.
So we've actually talked about a lot of gaming, yeah. The businessman sitting in some saying, "Hey, Charlie, how does this affect me?" So now let's talk a bit about the cloud-based enterprises. When I say enterprises, I know people want to run their Excels and their computations and their kind of XPSS softwares online, and 5G means it's going to be a lot faster. Yes.
Sure.
Tell me more about that. That is what I.
So you're more
businessman
interested
myself.
in. For sure.
No, but you know the gaming industry is bigger than everything. Like right now, and it's still in its infancy stage.
Yes,
So
it's
you
one
can
of the
imagine.
biggest in industries. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Guys.
but I got you. Don't worry, Enos, I got you. So for the ordinary man, right? Like, for the ordinary businessman like Enos, who is just looking at how 5G will benefit him. Let me give you a scenario, okay?
Yeah.
Whatever computational rate that you have to do, you need to have what we call servers to be able to do that, right?
Definitely.
An example is, let's say you are a businessman who has customers coming in, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you have a mall, right? You're a businessman in Ghana, and you have a mall, and you have people coming into the mall to buy stuff. And you want to figure out at what time and during what period the most people come in. And do you know what that information can do for you? Well, it means that you can advertise certain things at certain times, certain kind of people, and you can position certain things at the mall in certain instances, right? So you want to be able to collect some data, perform some analysis on data, and get results that you can then use to take certain decisions for your business, right? And to be able to do all of these fancy stuff, you need huge computational power to be able to do them. And these are very, very expensive. Like, these servers are really, really expensive, right? Like, I can buy one, right? And they're like extremely, like probably in the millions of dollars, right? So what happens is that big companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon, right? Like Amazon AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and Facebook Cloud own a bunch of data centers, like these big machines that you need to do all this analysis to help you make the right decisions. You don't have access to them, but these big companies have access to them. And what they've done is that they provided quotas in their data centers for
Service.
people to have access to, right? So it's like what he was saying with Stadia. You own it, but you don't own it, right? You have it, but it is stored somewhere, and you can do all of those computational analysis. These devices have these servers have the capacity to do all of these computations at a very fast rate and send them back to you.
Supercomputers, basically.
Supercomputers, basically. So for you, how this applies is that now all you have to do is to just collect the data, get a data analyst and a computer scientist to code everything up, and now these people that you employ don't need you to have these data centers, right? Because they can just get it from Google. They can get it from Facebook, from Amazon, right? They get this, perform the analysis over there, and just get the results back. They can store even the data, like, and everything over there, right? So what 5G enables you to do is that you can do these things like for the developer, he can do these kind of computations at an extremely fast rate, super secure, and basically is going to help developers help businessmen by giving them enough information for them to make decisions about their businesses.
Yeah, thanks, Cynoc. It's interesting to see how all of this works out, and it's working out. In my sense, businessmen are now going to have more things or tools available to them online, and it's faster this time around. Now, before we jump onto a quick detail about 6G, just short detail, I must say, people complain that 5G will cause health issues. Some very big topic. In 1 minute, per each one of you, if you were in a debate, who would choose to be the villain and who would choose to be the good guy here? Andy?
Truthfully, I don't even know how I can even defend that.
Are you going to defend?
It will go against my intellectual, astuteness to argue for.
I'll have to.
No, I just can't. I saw it online, but I was like, this is.
You're not going to waste your time to read it.
Exactly. Yeah, I actually don't know what a theory is. I know people talk about it, but like I don't want to waste my energy on it.
Yeah.
Well, people say it's going to cause cancer. But anyway, as a result of health issues,
yeah.
You finish after you.
I mean, like, I guess I don't really know like the theory, but I'm guessing it's because of the frequency that they are trying to tap into.
Mm-hmm.
But most of these like things, like if you make things that you can't support with facts, it's like I don't know what to tell you, right? Like I'm sorry, this is really hard for me to like.
in Ghana terms, it bust your mind.
Yeah,
it busts my brains actually. No, not just my mind, the entire brain.
Yeah.
So this is what. Let's talk about 6G. Okay, if 5G is that good, how good is 6G?
Mm-hmm.
In 1 minute. 1 minute.
In one word. On steroids.
Are you serious? Okay, Andy, in 1 word.
I mean, like on steroids, there's nothing else unless like you want to use.
You know what?
Performance enhancing drugs.
If 4G is that, if 5G is like 10 times of 4G, then 6G is like 100 times.
My God, yes, you could say that.
Yeah. And I think 5G is about 100 times probably than 4G, not even 10. It's a lot.
Did you see me open my eyes on the video, right? Like,
I saw you. I saw you. It's really fast, which is why gamers like Andy are super excited.
Yes. The question is, when does it reach Ghana?
When?
Mm-hmm.
And does that infrastructure?
Okay,
so infrastructure like match up to what we think it should, or will it be like some fake?
We've been using 3G, which is like 2G. We already know. You're using 3G,
Yeah, I mean,
that is like 2G, 4G, that is like 3G. We understand. We enjoy it. We don't have it. We won't say anything. We are masking it, calling it HSPDA and HT hot. We understand. No problem. We did. But anyways, not to bang them. They are doing a good job. They are trying their best to bring internet to Africa. And that's very important. And we really appreciate them.
Yeah.
No, why would they bring you 6G and the cost will be low? That's why you have to have fat pocket. Okay, so let's just wrap this up, yeah. Cynoc, it's been great to have you on. Andy,
it's been a pleasure, Ina.
Andy, the fans missed you, so don't go into hiding. I don't know if you've gone into Game of Thrones where you are hiding, and then we don't know whether you.
The Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes,
yeah, I take mine.
I'm dead.
Perhaps the one eye raven.
Make sure you don't burn any cities on your way to take your empire.
It's too late. I burnt one like yesterday.
So it's been nice. To our listeners, we really appreciate you listening to us, and it's been a great show today. Today we've talked about 5G and 6G being on steroids, and I think you've learned a lot today. I'm your one and number one host, Melash. And by the way, I'm still the Enos he was calling. And you can catch us on the giveaway. It's on ironmembers.com. And we're on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere you've been going, Facebook, you name it. Just share, like, comment. We take your comments very seriously and we incorporate it into our podcast. It's been a great day. Enjoy your day too. Adios.